of issues or hurdles that have been placed in these opportunities that Larry and his group has been given. So I'm saying it's bigger than Larry. If our community is going to survive, we need to make it abundantly clear that we need minority inclusion. Our community cannot be saved by bringing in white businesses, giving them property they lease to others, and then saying, look, we're bringing you jobs. We're saving you. That's not the case. Because once they own the property, it'll never revert back. And they can choose to do whatever they want to once they fulfill those commitments. You know, I personally am too old to hear somebody say, trust me, and believe it. I need to see it in writing. I need to see it in action. So we're asking that city officials and all of them come tomorrow night, because the community is divided. People have all kinds of innuendos about Larry and his integrity. Listen, the larger trying to help in their community, and the linchpin, that one thing between winning and losing, has to do with the city's willingness to go beyond the veil of the law, to go beyond the printed obligations, and say, you know what, we want to make this work. And if we're not doing that, we're not going to have African American investors. We're going to have to pull them from other places. And mark my words, when those properties are allowed to be purchased, they never go back to the community. Sylvia's deal, they would have been a renter forever. Tangerine Plaza, I'm not familiar with the term, but again, you're in a situation where you're not able to acquire it all without covering two mortgages. That's not the same thing in Commerce Park. They have the ability to own their property for around 10 years with incentives that bring the price down. That's making the area fertile for business. It has to be done for everybody. If not, we're going to watch 22nd Street go away. And remember, in the history of this community, it was one of the few places that African Americans had some ownership in business and so forth. That was there to go away. For me, that's a sad thing. There are a couple businesses down there. There's all kind of leverage. And in many cases, that has happened. So why is that not being done? You know, you think about it, when you have an RFP for Sylvia's, for Tangerine Plaza, all these areas, you have to have a certain combination of private and public partnerships. And in many cases, our community cannot amass a group large enough to take advantage of those situations. Larry and his investors is probably in our community the largest and most viable group to pull these deals together. They did that. They did that under some real difficult circumstances, but they did it to try to help the community up 22nd Street. And then, at the end of the day, did not receive the necessary assistance. It's going to take effort. It's going to take investments to start that over again. Why not help the existing entity? And one thing that I really want to be clear about, this is much larger than Larry Newsom. It's much larger. Our community, you know, we talk about public-private partnerships. I'm a dais that's 6 feet high, and you standing there looking at, you know, at Judgment Hall. You need to talk to people on their own level in language that our community can understand, and demonstrate to them that we're being treated fair and not just being treated.
We gave a written plan on what the strategies was at Sylvia's. We admit there was no workable plan or model that we could use when we decided to invest our monies to put it in Sylvia's. The building had stayed dormant for years and years, and as a matter of fact, when we walked in there, the ground floor was just still dirt. So we invested around $2 to $3 million to put in there of our monies. Well, by not having that model, we made mistakes, we made errors. But to the community, we heard your cries. We knew what we had did wrong, and we knew the mistakes we had made. But in trying to rectify those mistakes, we went and knew that we had to go to the city. We went to the city, requested a Section 108 loan. What that loan would have done was given us the monies to go ahead to hire the good cooks, to hire a good chef, to hire a good general manager that had food service knowledge and experience. Well, when we was turned down from the city with that Section 108 loan, we had to try to make do with what we had to try to keep the restaurant open and try to keep it serving the community. We decided that the city said that, okay, we had to come up with the rent monies. We put the monies into the account. The city went to the judge, and the judge says, okay, you didn't do it on time. If the city had a sincere effort to work with us, why not just keep the rent money and then let us negotiate for some other things? Well, the second part of that is we wanted to try to go through the legal realms and make sure that we try to keep the restaurant open for the community and not let a lot of people lose their jobs. But what happened was someone from the city, and I'm not saying that this administration, went to the courthouse and had a writ filed within less than 35 minutes. Anybody else, it would take around. Mr. Newsom was no longer the managing partner, and I have been voted the managing partner. So I attempted to reach out to try to make sure that those things happen. This is not about one entity or one individual. It's about us serving the community and serving the people of Midtown. Unless we start doing things different to try to make sure that these businesses are viable, to come up with some type of innovative way to make sure that we can serve the underprivileged or the needy and the people of Midtown. Now, the mayor and his administration has touted that we spent $2 million in Midtown over 3 years. Are you really proud of that? Are you proud that you spent $2 million in Midtown when you spent over $500 million downtown? That's not what we want, and we're not asking for separation. We're asking to be inclusive, and we're asking to sit down to the table that we can have and make reasonable decisions that's going to benefit not just one section of St. Petersburg, but all of St. Petersburg. In respect to the Tangerine Plaza, the city was the second mortgage holder along with neighborhood lending partners. No one has tried to talk to anybody, to my knowledge, from UDS about what was going on. As a matter of fact, there was an opportunity to refinance the deal, but it was blocked. We're trying to figure out who it was blocked from. Maybe this administration is not knowing what's going on in terms of down the line to the working people, but it was blocked. We don't want to be into a big fighting contest with this mayor and his administration. He's our mayor, and we know that. But we want to sit down with some direct dialogue and some sincerity to try to do what's best for Midtown. Taking the Tangerine Plaza and changing the entities and separating the people is not the answer. What the answer is for all of us to come together with some type of common ground. Martin Luther King said we must not allow any force to make us feel like we don't count, but we must maintain a sense of dignity and respect, and that's what we're trying to do.